His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa received a telephone call from His Majesty King Abdullah II ibn al Hussein of Jordan. His Majesty King Abdullah expressed his sincere condolences over the loss of the fallen servicemen of the BDF task force participating in Operation Decisive Storm and Operation Restoring Hope, who were stationed at the southern border of Saudi Arabia. He prayed to Allah the Almighty to rest the souls of the fallen servicemen in eternal peace and to give their relatives patience and fortitude, wishing the injured a speedy recovery. His Majesty the King expressed thanks and appreciation to the Jordanian monarch for his sincere condolences and sympathy. Both leaders also discussed the solid Bahraini-Jordanian relations as well as ways to strengthen cooperation across various fields. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa issued Decree 90 of 2023, appointing an Assistant Under Secretary at the Ministry of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Waqf, based on a proposal by the Minister of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Waqf, and following the approval of the Cabinet. According to the decree, Councillor Muhammad Ahmed Ali Muqbil will be appointed as Assistant Under Secretary for State Cases and International Cooperation at the Ministry. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa chaired the weekly cabinet meeting at Gdaybiya Palace. The cabinet extended its condolences to His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, and to the people of Bahrain and the families of the fallen servicemen who passed away while carrying out their national duty in Operation Restoring Hope as part of the Saudi-led Arab coalition forces at the southern border of Saudi Arabia. The Cabinet also wished the injured servicemen a speedy recovery. The Cabinet thanked the allied countries and international organizations who have expressed their support to Bahrain during this time. The Cabinet added that the honorable sacrifices of the fallen servicemen will be etched forever in the kingdom's history. On the occasion of the royal order issued by His Majesty the King on calling the Shura and Representatives Councils to convene for the second session of the 6th legislative term, the Cabinet emphasized the importance of His Majesty's address to be given at the opening of the second session of the 6th legislative term of the Shura and Representatives Councils, in laying the foundation of national effort in the next phase of the kingdom's progress and development. The Cabinet highlighted that the second session of the 6th legislative term showcases the kingdom's ongoing commitment to national development, noting the importance of ongoing cooperation between the executive and legislative authorities and building on the cohesion achieved by the benefit of the country and its citizens. On the occasion of World Teachers' Day, the Cabinet expressed its gratitude to the teachers and their efforts in supporting the kingdom's education sector by upskilling the kingdom's youth to ensure their contributions to Bahrain's comprehensive development. The Cabinet also wished the teaching professionals success in carrying out their national duty and passing on their knowledge to future generations. The Cabinet discussed and approved the following memorandums during the meeting. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Financial and Economic Affairs and Fiscal Balance, approving the closing dates of accounts for the 2023 fiscal year. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Financial and Economic Affairs and Fiscal Balance regarding Bahrain's contributions and subscriptions to international organizations. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs regarding the framework between the Ministry of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Waqf and the Ministry of Labor regarding providing administrative assistance in labor lawsuits for Bahraini workers. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs on a guide for preparing, studying and finalizing MOUs for the Government of Bahrain. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs regarding the government's response to a law proposal submitted by the Council of Representatives. The Cabinet reviewed the following. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Financial and Economic Affairs and Fiscal Balance regarding Bahrain's quarterly economic report for the second quarter of 2023. The memorandum showed growth in the kingdom's GDP at constant prices on an annual basis of 2%, supported by the growth of the oil sector by 2.2%, in addition to the growth of the non-oil sector by 2%. A memorandum submitted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs regarding an MOU between the Central Bank of Bahrain and the National Bank of the Kyrgyz Republic on financial cooperation. In addition, the Cabinet noted the following ministerial reports: the Kingdom's participation in the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly, the Kingdom's participation in the Summit of the Heads of State and Government of the Group of 77 and China on current development challenges, the role of science, technology and innovation, outcomes of the second meeting of the Political Coordination Committee and the meeting of the Preparatory Committee of the Saudi Bahraini Coordination Council, outcomes of the 157th session of the Joint Ministerial Council of the GCC and the Joint Ministerial Meeting between the GCC and Japan, Bahrain's participation in the 160th Arab League Council meeting of foreign ministers, Bahrain's participation in the Global Sustainable Transport Forum 2023, the Kingdom's participation in the 9th meeting of the Committee of the Ministers of Health of the GCC and the 86th General Conference of the GCC Health Ministers Council, the Kingdom's participation in the Arab Media Forum, the Kingdom's participation in the World Tourism Day 2023 event. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa issued Edict 94 of 2023, appointing directors at the Ministry of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Waqf based on a proposal by the Minister of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Waqf. The edict stipulates the appointment of the following directors at the Ministry of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Waqf: Arif Ali Ahmed Sammak, Director of Communications; Wafa Ibrahim Abdullah Al-Hajri, Director of Information Technology; Salah Haider Hussein Ahmed, Director of Alumni Fund; Ali Abdulaziz Abdurrahman Murad, Director of Human and Financial Resources; Nof Ali Muhammad Khalfan, Director of Notary and Reinforcement; Basma Muhammad Al Khayyat, Director of Minors Affairs and Funds. The representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs and Board of Directors Chairman of Babco Energies Group, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, participated in the opening of the Abu Dhabi International Progressive Energy Congress ADIPEC 2023, hosted by the UAE under the patronage of the UAE President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. His Highness affirmed Bahrain's keenness to formulate the future of global energy systems, renewing the Kingdom's commitment to reduce carbon emissions by 30% by 2035 and reaching net zero by 2060. His Highness Sheikh Nasser asserted that the Kingdom's participation in the event is within the framework of its commitment to leading the global transformation in the energy fields, as well as facing the challenges created by the current energy landscape through a strategy and a strong commitment to climate action, affirming Bahrain's full readiness to play a proactive role in shaping the future of energy. His Highness indicated that the importance of the ADIPEC 2023 emanates from the gathering of the whole world in the UAE and to attend COP28, where the values of humanity, ambition and creativity will come together in a great country that calls for unity in delivering innovative, sustainable and real action on climate changes. His Highness was accompanied by the Oil and Environment Minister and Special Envoy for Climate Affairs, Dr. Mohammed bin Mubarak bin Dana, as well as CEOs and Babco Energies officials and representatives. The Abu Dhabi International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference ADIPEC 2023 began under the slogan "Reducing Emissions Faster Together," with the participation of sector leaders, policy makers and innovators from countries around the world. The conference discusses ways to reduce emissions from the current energy system. During the conference, many companies will review the energy system, innovations and technologies that support the sector's journey to achieve climate neutrality, including direct air capture technology, carbon capture use and storage, green systems for hydrogen electrolysis, the use of renewable energy and produce electricity, and artificial intelligence. The Omani Deputy Prime Minister for Cabinet Affairs, His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Said, received the GCC Health Ministers who are participating in the 9th meeting of the GCC Health Ministers Committee, hosted by Oman. His Highness expressed Oman's appreciation for the efforts being made in the health field to advance the process of joint Gulf action, praising the achievements of the Health Ministers' Council for GCC states and its role in improving health services. For their part, the health ministers expressed thanks to Oman for hosting the meeting. The Lord Mayor of the City of London, the Right Honourable Nicholas Lyons, hailed the deep-rooted relations that span over 2 centuries between Bahrain and the United Kingdom. He noted the importance of strengthening Bahrain-UK partnership in line with the visions of His Majesty the King and with the support of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister.
The relationship between the UK and Bahrain goes back over 200 years, so there is enormous history between our 2 countries. So it's been very good. It was very good to see the Crown Prince visit London in July, and we've had various meetings around that with the Finance Minister as well. There was a big delegation that came in July to the Mansion House, and we signed a number of agreements which is looking at the areas where we can work together cooperatively. So you've seen already, just before I arrived, the Duke of Edinburgh was here. We've had the Trade Minister here. My visit is actually the first visit of a Lord Mayor since 2016. So you can feel, I think, the increased intensity right now about the interaction between the 2 countries. And my welcome here, I have to say, has been extraordinarily warm. I've travelled around the world in my year as Lord Mayor. There has been nowhere in the world where I have been made to feel more welcome. And visits with the Crown Prince himself and His Majesty the King were real highlights for me.
The Lord Mayor of the City of London also stressed the importance of developing the financial sector and highlighting the growth in financial technologies that could build partnerships between Bahrain and the UK in many areas for the benefit of the 2 countries.
I think it's very clear in this day and age how important fintech is. This will bring the access to financial services to many people who otherwise have not had access to it through open banking and many other areas. And there are significant breakthroughs in payment systems, not just here but around the world. So I think the UK has real leadership in fintech, and I know that this has been an area of real expertise for Bahrain as well. So when I met some British businesses yesterday morning, we had some fintech businesses who have built up their operations here. And something that was very pleasing for me to hear was the amount of talent that we see in Bahrain. We know, of course, that education has been of paramount importance in Bahrain for a very long time. And that's really paying dividends because there is a skilled workforce here that can encourage the growth of these technology companies. So I think we're going to see the combination of talent and also a regulatory system here that is really responsive. In the UK, the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority, developed a digital sandbox function which enabled early stage technology companies to explore their technology and their business models with regulators in an informal way. And that's been reflected here in Bahrain as well. And the response that I've had again from British businesses is that the Bahraini regulator, the Central Bank of Bahrain, has demonstrated that it's agile, proportionate and predictable in what it does, which is of great importance. So that has helped enormously.
The 32nd edition of Bahrain International Music Festival was launched, where Bahrain's Philharmonic Orchestra delivered a performance led by Maestro Dr. Mbarak Nejm. The festival represents a cultural drive for Bahrain and opens bridges of communication between Bahrain and the world. It includes traditional Gulf arts and performances, as well as performers from Jordan and Morocco who participated as guests of honor. The festival will run until 20th of October. The General Secretariat of the Shura and Representatives Councils prepared the annual report of the previous session. More in this report.
With the beginning of each new session, members of the Legislative Authority prepare for a new phase of ongoing legislative work, in which they rely on the various legislative achievements that were made during the previous session, which are collected and scrutinized in a comprehensive annual report jointly prepared by the Shura and Representatives Councils and then presented to His Majesty the King. During His Majesty's reception and upon receiving the annual report, His Majesty stressed the pivotal and effective role of the Legislative Authority in supporting the process of promoting the democratic approach, defending the nation's issues and interests, meeting the aspirations of citizens, and consolidating the Kingdom's position in international parliamentary forums. This pivotal report, with the great legislative achievements it contains, demonstrates the advanced level of cooperation and coordination between the executive and legislative authorities, which is the basis for achieving further gains and prosperity for Bahrain and its people. It is also an indication of the extent of the great legislative and legal harmony that has contributed to strengthening the democratic approach, supporting the national achievements through implementing the government's program and plans for economic recovery and financial balance, as well as enhancing partnership and decision-making. Numerous initiatives and constructive proposals included in the annual report aim to develop the legislative and oversight performance, laid the foundation for further achievements for the next session, and works to create opportunities for the people of Bahrain to serve their country and provide a decent life for all.
The chairman of the Bahrain Hajj Mission, Sheikh Adnan bin Abdullah Al-Qattan, praised His Majesty the King's unlimited support for the Kingdom's Hajj mission, citing the royal directives to ensure easy procedures and comfort for Bahraini pilgrims, and commending the unwavering follow-up of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. He asserted that based on the directives of His Royal Highness to begin the necessary arrangements for the 1445 Hijri Hajj season in September to ensure they are in line with Saudi Arabia's arrangements, the Bahrain Hajj Mission held its first preparatory meeting with the heads and representatives of Bahrain Hajj campaigns. Chairing the first meeting, Al-Qattan underlined the importance of cooperation and integration between the Bahrain Hajj Mission and Hajj campaigns to launch the preparations for the upcoming Hajj season. He urged all Hajj campaigns to adhere to the specific time plan and to undertake all required procedures for the upcoming season by opening the registration for pilgrimage, which began yesterday and will conclude on February 20th. He called on campaigns to begin receiving citizens and residents wishing to perform Hajj rituals and register their data in the electronic system available through the national portal. The Board of Trustees of the Arab Observatory for Human Rights held its regular meeting under the chairmanship of Arab Parliament Speaker Adil Al-Assoumi. The Board of Trustees observed a moment of silence for the fallen servicemen of the BDF who lost their lives while performing their sacred national duty as part of the Arab coalition on the southern border of Saudi Arabia. Al-Assoumi condemned the act of aggression during which a number of BDF task force servicemen fell in the line of duty or were injured while defending the Arab and Islamic nations. He extended deepest condolences to His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, the BDF General Headquarters and the Bahraini people. The Under-Secretary of the Cabinet Affairs Ministry, Vice President of the Bahraini Olympic Committee and head of Bahrain's mission to the Guangzhou Asiad, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Ali Al Khalifa, visited the sports village and met with the athletics delegation. He also conveyed to them the greetings of the first Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, Chairman of the General Sports Authority and President of the Bahrain Olympic Committee, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, noting the efforts made by their runner to reach the podiums. His Highness praised the achievements made by the champions of the 19th Asian Games so far. Bahrain continues to stay ahead in the 19th Asian Games in Hangzhou, China, after the athletics team won 3 new medals in today's competitions. Runner Winfred Yavi succeeded in winning a gold medal in the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase race with a time of 9 minutes 18 and set a new record in the Asian Games. The Bahrain team, consisting of Abbas Yusuf, Abbas Ali, Salwaid and Oklami Adi Koya, won gold in the 4x400 meters mixed relay race with a time of 3 minutes 14 ahead of the Indian and Kyrgyzstan teams. Meanwhile, runner Edidyong Ofinimi won the bronze medal in the women 200-meter race after finishing the race in the 3rd place with 23.48 seconds. With these results, Bahrain raised its tally in the championship to 11 colored medals, including 6 gold, 1 silver and 4 bronze medals. Runner Winfred Yavi added a 4th gold medal for Bahrain at the 19th Asian Games yesterday after winning the women's 1,500-meter race, finishing in 4 minutes 11 seconds, while runner Marta Herbato won the bronze medal in the same race. Runner Oli Kimi Adikoya won the gold medal in the 400-meter race, while runner Salwaid came in 2nd place to win the silver medal. Runner Birhanu Bilao won the 1st place in the 10,000-meter race, while runner Hajar El Khaldi won the bronze medal in the 100-meter race. The 400-meter competition, Abbas Yusuf won the bronze medal, bringing Bahrain's record in the 19th Asian Games to 8 colored medals, including 3 gold medals at the top of the participating Arab countries. Bahrain took the lead in the first group in the handball main round competitions yesterday. The national team managed to achieve the 3rd victory in the group after beating the Kuwaiti team 34 goals to 25 and will face the Japanese team next Tuesday in the semi-finals. The Asian Football Confederation has approved Bahraini international referee Mohammed Khalid as part of the elite list of Asian referees for the year 2023 after passing the requirements for the Continental Confederation Referee Academy program, bringing the number of Bahraini referees on the elite list to 16, including 4 area referees and 7 assistant referees, in addition to 3 hall referees and 2 beach referees. The Royal Equestrian Team rider Raed Mahmoud, while wearing the victorious logo, won the title of the Hungarian International Equestrian Festival, which is held annually under the patronage of the President of Hungary. Raed Mahmoud won place after strong competition throughout the tournament, which was held over 2 days. The royal team presents outstanding levels in the festival, which included various equestrian competitions for amateur, acrobatic performances on horseback, and speed races in the 300-meter field.